Hello everyone, good evening and welcome to this live session on the IBPS Specialist Officers Exam 2015 brought to you by the TalentSprint Banker's Choice Program. As you all are aware, this is a very important phase for the bank exam aspirants because a couple of notifications already in place. IBPS clerk's exam is going on and two more exams to come up, right? And more notifications expected. So I'm sure this is a very crucial stage and your preparation and performance in various mock tests that you take up really matters here, right? So coming to what notifications are already in place, IBPS specialist officers and SBI specialist officers as well, right? It was IBPS that had released its notification first, for which the session was planned, but then SBI came up with its own notification for recruitment in the specialist officers category, right? So two notifications, exams coming up in January there. Then IBPS clerks preliminary exam is going on. We have already had 2 days of the prelims exam last weekend, and the remaining 2 slots are scheduled for the coming weekend, right? And then that IBPS PO mains exam is over, results have been announced, right? And interview is going to start in the month of January there. All right. So I think all these exams together, make it a very important part of the year, right? So you have to keep up your preparation, right? Prepare really hard. Don't get disappointed if you have not qualified in any of the earlier exams conducted this year, because opportunities are huge, right? There are more notifications expected to come, and I'm sure with 2016 as a goal in your mind, you will be able to establish your banking career successfully, provided you start your preparation at the earliest and start it the right way. All right. Now, coming to the session that we have planned for today, like you all know, this is for specialist officers. It was intended to be for IBPS specialist officers, but like I said, SBI has also released a notification, so we'll be looking at both the notifications here, and the focus will be on quantitative aptitude. All right. Now, that there is a typical pattern that is followed for the specialist officer exam, right? If you look at the IBPS specialist officer notification, the different types of posts that we have are, IT officers, agricultural field officer, law officers, HR and personal officers. All right. And then we have Rajbhasha Adhikaris, right? And what else? I think in finance, we have a few posts, marketing officers, right? So all these are termed as specialist officers. So you need to have a special graduation for you to be eligible for this exam. Same goes with SBI notification as well, which has come up recently. Only 2 types of posts, deputy manager law and assistant manager systems, right? So these are specializations for those who have done their graduation in law and graduation in IT or computer science respectively, right? You can go through the detailed notification there, which are available on the websites respectively, and get to know the examination pattern. The examination pattern is also quite typical. Like, for example, if you look at the SBI notification, for law officers, we have reasoning ability, we have English language and professional knowledge. And for IT officers, that is assistant manager in systems, like the post is called, we have quantitative aptitude, reasoning ability, English language, and professional knowledge with different weightage for different subjects. So let's not spend time on discussing all those things, because notifications are there on the websites. You can go through them and get a detailed idea about how you are going to be tested. All right. Let's look into the subject now. Like I said, it is going to be on quantitative aptitude, right? This session today is planned for quantitative aptitude from the previous year's paper. So we have chosen some questions from the last year's IBPS specialist officers paper, right, from quantitative aptitude. Now, if you really look at it, the quantitative aptitude paper of SO is more or less similar to the quantitative aptitude section of a PU exam, right, probationary officers exam. You have questions from numerical ability, you will have questions from arithmetic ability, questions from data interpretation and analysis, and questions from pure mathematic topics like permutations and combinations, probability, etc. If you really go through the last year's paper of IBPS specialist officers, there were lots of questions on simplifications. I think there were 5 questions on simplifications, 5 questions on approximations. There were 10 questions on number series, right? And about 15 questions on data interpretation analysis and 5 questions from various topic of arithmetic aptitude. So we have chosen some questions. I'll share the questions with you on the screens here. Let's get started without discussing any more about these patterns and all, because that's very available in the notifications. We can just go through it. So I'll share my screens now. We have questions from permutations and combinations. Permutations and combinations has been a common topic in most of the specialist officers exam. So we'll choose or we'll solve a set of 5 questions that were asked in the last year's IBPS specialist officer exam. So let's get started. I'm sharing my screen now, where you will see the questions and look at the smart ways of answering such questions here. Well, generally these type of questions are asked in a set of 5, right? This carries a weightage of 5 marks. So there's some common data given to you, and based on these common data, you need to answer the questions followed by it. So what does it say? From the following, different committees are to be made as per the requirement given in each question. So in how many different ways can it be done? So we have to basically form committees. Now, if you have gone through the permutations and combinations video of banker's choice, right? This video alone runs up for 2 hours and 20 minutes. This is a 140-minute video where we have discussed, I think, 11 different models or 11 different types of questions that can come up from permutations and combinations, right? So if you've really gone through the video, you will be able to answer such questions very easily. It is just that you have to follow the given condition properly and do your calculations as quickly as possible, right? Like I always say, whatever be the topic, if the question is from quantitative aptitude, calculation plays a key role. And I'm sure most of us would actually waste our time in doing these calculations in a lengthy way. So if you can do your calculations quickly, I'm sure you can arrive at the answers very, very quickly. So what does it say? 10 men, right? We have some data here about the grouping there. So it says 10 men, 8 women, out of which 5 men are teachers, 3 men doctors, and 2 are businessmen. Then among the women, 3 are teachers, 2 are doctors, 2 are researchers, and 1 is a social worker. So if you really look at it, the total of men, 5 plus 3, 8, 8 plus 2 adds up to 10, right? 10 men. And women, 3 teachers plus 2 doctors, 5 plus 2 researchers, 7 plus 1 social worker, 8 women. So basically the distribution of men and women across different professions has been given here. Teachers, doctors, businessmen, researchers, and social workers. Look at the first question. A committee of 5 in which 3 men and 2 women are there. So basically we need to form committees, and the directions clearly say in how many different ways can it be done. So we have to find out in how many ways can we form a committee of 5 persons in which 3 are men and 2 are women, right? So there should be a mix of men and women, 3 men and 2 women. And options have been given there: 3,360, 8,568, 4,284, 1,680, and 5th option, as usual, is none of this. So I'll be giving you 1 minute for each of these questions. There are more questions followed by it. Like it's at 5 questions altogether in such cases. So this is the first one. Solve this, and then we'll move on to the next one. All right. So your time starts now. 1 minute, and your time has already started. I'm sure most of you will be able to answer these questions. But like I said, what matters is how quickly do you arrive at the answer. All of us will get the right answer, but how quickly do we get the answer is important. So your calculation is really going to play a very important role. So I'll just wait for a few responses and then discuss the solution. I can see many of you have already joined. I think Sonia, Jayesh, VG, Vikram, Prashant, Sweetie, and we have Mugesh. And there's some usernames which I'm not very sure about the pronunciation there. I think Rukhya, Vinay Shukla, Indu, Vaishnavi, Vibha Chaurasya, and Rosmi, Maulik Kumar, Seema. So welcome everybody. I'm sure your preparation for all these exams is on its peak. I also hope that all of you have cleared the IBPS clerks preliminary exam. Those who all have actually finished it, right? Last weekend, like I said, was the first 2 days of the exam, and the general feedback is that the paper was very simple. I mean, generally, like always, the paper is very simple. It is only us who make it complicated, but seems like the questions asked were very straightforward, without any twist and complexities involved. So I hope those who have finished it have performed well, and those who have their exams next weekend will also do well. Okay, so we have got answers from different persons here: Vinay Shukla, Prashant, Vaishnavi, Maulik Kumar, and I think everybody says 3,360, right? Mukesh and Kathiresan. Many of you have answered, right? So 3,360 seems to be the response from most of you. And Jayesh has said the answer is 10C3 into 8C2. But Jayesh, I think you'll have to look at the options and then decide whether you need to simplify it further or not, right? You don't see options in the form of 10C3 and 8C2. And please do not expect the examiner to solve it for you and find out what the correct answer is. You have to give a simplified answer. I think Ashok Kumar has also done the same thing, 10C3 into 8C2. Well, 10C3 into 8C2 is correct. I don't say it is wrong, but you have to simplify it. Look at the options given there. Interestingly, somebody says none of these. I think Manoj has got none. Option 5, none is the answer. So let us solve it now. I think enough time given, and like I can see, most of you have got the same answer, which seems to be the correct one, 3,360. So what do? Very simple. 5 persons have to be chosen, of which 3 have to be men and 2 are women. See, first and foremost, understand that there are total 10 men, right? We have got total 10 men and 8 women. So actually, the total count is 18 persons. Out of these 18 persons, we need to form a committee of 5. So without any conditions, in how many ways can you do it? 18C 5 ways, right? The number of ways in which a committee of 5 persons can be formed out of 18 persons is 18C 5. But there are conditions here: 3 men and 2 women. I want 3 men and 2 women in that committee. So what is the choice? We have got 10 men, of which we need to select 3. In how many ways can you do that? 10C3. Remember, this is a question based on committees. And like you all know, questions on committees, group, gang, and forming a team, all these come under combination because we have to just choose, right? When you're forming a committee, you only choose persons. We don't arrange them. Arrangement is not required. Sequence is not important. So it is going to be a case of combination, which is done in the form of NCR, right? Out of n persons, the number of ways in which a committee of R persons can be formed is NCR. So out of 10, I need 3. It can be done in 10C3 ways. Out of 8 women, we need 2. In how many ways can you do that? 8C2 ways. And now you have to apply the principle of counting, right? The principle of multiplication, which says if one action can be done in M ways, the other action can be done in N ways, then both the actions together can be done in M into N ways. So 10C3 into 8C2 is going to be the final answer. Not the final answer, the simple, the concept there. Now you have to simplify it further. So what is 10C3? You can take it as 10 into 9 into 8 upon 3 into 2 into 8C2, 8 into 7 by 2 into 1. I'm sure all of you know the process behind this simplification, right? See, generally NCR is actually taken as n factorial divided by n minus r factorial into r factorial. But if you have solved a few questions, you would avoid all that unnecessary simplification step and directly take up the numbers. See, it is 10C3. So count in the reverse direction: 10, 9, 8. Only take 3 digits, 3 numbers: 10, 9, and 8. And since it is 3 in the denominator, you have to take 3 into 2 into 1. 8C2. Since it is 2, we have to choose 2. We'll say 8 into 7, only 2. Right? If it is, let's say, 8C3, what do? 8 into 7 into 6. So that's the idea. And denominator, we have got 2, so 2 into 1. So product of first 2 natural numbers, product of first 3 natural numbers, and so on. Now simplify this, what happens? 2 into 2 is 4. 4 here goes 2 times. And 3 here goes 3 times. So the final answer is 10 into 3 into 8 into 2 into 7. Now how much is 2 into 7? 14. 3 into 8? 24. What is 24 into 14? Now this is going to be very quick. You cannot be doing 24 into 14 this way. 4 into 4, 16. 4 into 2, 8 and 1. All this is not required. You must be capable enough of multiplying 24 with 14 mentally. How do you do? 24 should be taken 14 times. So 24 taken 10 times, 240. 24 taken 4 times, 96. 240 plus 96, 336. 336 multiplied by 10, which gives you 3,360 as the final answer, which is option 1. So all those who have got 3,360 are right. And like I always say, you need not write all these steps. Someone who is smart will cut down all the number of steps here. You just have to work on the simplification part. So clearly depends on how quickly can you do the calculations. Let me now move on to the next one. Same common data, but a different condition now. It says a committee of 4. This time we have to form a committee of 4 persons in which at least 2 women are there. At least 2. Now this is important. At least 2. At least means what? Minimum 2. So minimum 2 women have to be there in the committee. So 2 women or 3 women or 4 women. So I'll give you 1 more minute for this one and your time starts now. Options are 1260, 1820, 3060 and 1890. So let's see how many of you get it right. At least 2. Yeah, very correctly Jayesh says it is 24 into 10 plus 24 into 4. So you all have to work on those calculation skills, right? Speed maths. 24 to be taken 14 times. Don't multiply with 14. Multiply with 10, multiply with 4 and club both the values. Split and merge. So 240 plus 96. And you've got the first answer for this question here from KHATORE. I'm sorry, I don't get your username through that, but then he says it is 70 plus 560 plus 1200, which adds up to 1890. 1890. Vaishnavi has also got 1890. Waiting for a few more responses and then we look at the solution. Yeah, Ashok Kumar and we have, JANUNOTEXIST. Jayesh G1. G1 says it is option 4, 1890. Well, all of you have got 1890 so far, so looks like that's the correct one. Ajay, Sonia. Okay, so I was just waiting to see if there's some other answer option that you get. I think Vishvesh and Indu. Okay, Vishvesh has got 1260. Indu has got 1890, but Vishvesh says it is 1260. So some confusion out there. Either all those who have said 1890 are wrong or Vishvesh is wrong. Shall we look at the solution? I think yes, most of you have already done it. But see, look at the amount of time that you spend. I think very importantly, what you need to understand here is, I'll just stop sharing the screen for a while. I'm sure all of you have completed a solution, right, that you have to do. Important point to be observed is, like, that's what I've been stressing on so far, right? Everybody will get the correct answer. I'm sure 1890 is the correct answer, which most of you have got, except I think Vishvesh, and now I see Vinay Shukla responding as 1260 for this one. Well, you will get to know where you have gone wrong and you'll rectify it. That's okay. But examination point of view, you see, all of us have got the same answer. Almost all of us have got this correct answer so far. But look at the amount of time that you have spent. The very first response came in about 10-15 seconds. And then there are others who are kind of responding even now, right? The most recent one is from Ranjita, 1890. Has got the same answer. So you need to understand it. The best analogy that I can give you to understand the competition here is a running race. Any competitive exam, especially bank exams, are like a running race. What happens in a running race? 10 of us, or let's say 100 of us, at the starting line, and there's a finishing line. Who will reach the finishing line first is what matters. Or the top 3 persons. The first 3 persons are the winners and runners up and whatever you call it. The point is, all of us are going to reach the finishing line at some or the other point. Even the 10th person has reached the finishing line, but he has reached it, and nobody will value. Nobody would, care about who has come 10th, right? Do you remember who has come 4th in a running race ever? No. What matters is 1, 2, and 3. So same is going to happen in your competitive exam, right? Vacancies, the number of posts are limited. I don't say these are not enough. You need only one job. So from that point of view, yes, you have a vacancy for yourself there, but you have to perform the right way. Now, all those who are going to come first is what matters. So you have to improve your calculations. I'm sure many of you have actually got stuck in the calculation. Believe me or not, realize it yourself that calculation is what is taking more time for you, right? So let's look at the solution. I'll share my screens again, but what you need to understand more than the solution here is, where are we, getting stuck? Why is that we are taking so much time to arrive at the answer? And the simple answer to that is, we are not great when it comes to calculation, right? Not everybody is, strong in calculation. All right. So with that note, let's quickly look at the solution for this one. So back to the screen now. We have to form a committee of 4 persons in which at least 2 are women. Now understand, minimum 2 have to be women. So there can be different cases possible here. In the previous question, there was only one case. Select 3 men and 2 women. But now we'll have different cases. Minimum 2 women, he says. So I can have 2 women and 2 men in the committee. This is one combination. Or what's the other one? Minimum 2. So I can have 3 women and 1 man. Yes or no? Or there's one more possibility. We can take 4 women and 0 men. Right? Why are we stopping here at 4 women and 0 men? Because we have to form a committee of 4. So you cannot take 5 women. You cannot go on like this. You cannot take 5 women. Total has to be 4. So 2 plus 2, 4. 3 plus 1, 4. 4 plus 0, 4. Getting it? Minimum 2. Every committee, if you see, minimum 2 are women. 2 women, 3 women, and 4 women. And or means what? Or rule is nothing but the principle of addition. Principle of addition, right? When you are taking 2 different cases, you'll always have to take a plus sign in between them, right? So you have to select 2 women. How many women do we have altogether? 8 women and 10 men. So look at the first case, 2 women out of 8. So 8C2. 2 men out of 10, 10C2. One action in M ways, the other action in N ways, both together in M into N ways. Or means what? Plus, right? This is a different case. You have to be very careful about way to use plus and way to use multiplication, right? Way to use into and way to use plus. Into when you are doing within a case, plus when you are taking different cases. Now 3 women out of 8, 8C3 into 1 man out of 10, 10C1. Or plus 4 women out of 8, 8C4. And 0 men, you don't have to select men. So you need not write 10C0. 10C0 will come out to be 1. Basically, out of 10 men, you have to select 0 men, which can be done in only one way. What is that way? Don't do anything. Don't select at all. So you can simply avoid that. Or you can write 10C0, right? Not a problem. Anyway, 8C4, we can stop here, 8C4. So these are the 3 cases. Now you have to simplify each one and add. How quickly do you do the simplification is what matters. 8C2, what is 8C2? 8 into 7 by 2. 10C2, 10 into 9 by 2. If you are, very good in calculation, you will not write 8 into 7 by 2. You will directly write it as 28. Because denominator has got 2. 8 gets cancelled 4 times. 4 into 7 is 28. So you can directly write 28. Similarly, 10C2, 10 into 9 by 2, 90 by 2, 45. This is 45. So 28 into 45. You're able to follow. Plus 8C3, 8 into 7 into 6 by 3 into 2 into 10C1. 10C1 is 10. Remember, NC1 is always N. 10C1 is 10. Then the last case. What's the last case? 8C4. Simplify 8C4. 8 into 7 into 6 into 5 divided by 4 into 3 into, or you can write 24 directly. Right? Now simplify all this. You get the correct answer. So if you see 3 into 2 and 6 gets cancelled. 4 into 3 into 2. This is 24. 8 into 6 is 48. 48 goes how many times? In 24, 2 times. So that's the final simplification. Now do this 28 into 45. What is 28 into 45? 28 into 50 is 1400 minus 140. This is going to be 1260 plus 8 into 7. 8 into 7, 56 into 10, 560 plus 7 into 2, 14. 14 into 5, 70. That's it. Add all 3. 1260 plus 560 and 70. I think somebody had given the complete solution this way, right? 1260 plus 560 plus 70. So when you add 1700, 1820 and 70, 1890. That's the final answer. 1890 is the final answer, right? So I think all of you are correct, 1890. But those who all have got 1260, they need to be careful. Now comes a very important point. Do we really have to do all this? No, not really. Correct. Solution is correct. Nothing wrong. If you can do quick calculations and if you can cut down a few steps, like the first step, you can arrive at the answer much faster. 1890 is going to be the correct answer. But the same answer can also be arrived at in a different way. What do we do? See, there also calculation is involved. I don't say calculation is not involved there, but just the approach is important. At least 2. He's saying in that committee, minimum 2 persons have to be women. We have to form a committee of 4 in which 2 have to be women. So this is one way of doing it, right? Case 1, I would say. The other way of doing it, case 2, is as follows. What we'll do is, we'll find out all the possible committees that can be formed. How many committees can be formed? We have to form a committee of 4 persons. Out of 10 plus 8, 18 persons. Are you able to follow? Total, we have got 18 choices. We need to select 4. In how many ways can you do that? 18C4 ways. From this 18C4, subtract all the ways where there are less than 2 women. I want minimum 2 to be women. Minimum 2 women. Now 18C4 will also have those committees where there are 0 women. So subtract all those ways. So in how many ways can you form a committee of 0 women? 0 women means what? 4 men. All the 4 are men. All the 4 men can be done in how many ways? 10C4 ways. It will also have 18C4 will also have those committees where there is 1 woman and 3 men. Subtract all those cases. 1 woman and 3 men. 1 woman 8C1 into 3 women. 3 men 10C3. Now that's it. Simplify this and you'll get the answer. Are you able to follow? 8C4 is the total number of ways. Total number of committees that can be formed. From this, we are subtracting those committees where there are 0 women. 0 women and 4 men. And we are also subtracting those committees where there is 1 woman and 3 men. So what do you see? Observe. Minimum 2 have to be women. Minimum 2. Maximum can be anything. But minimum have to be 2 women. So we have subtracted all those cases where there are 0 women. Because this is not minimum 2. And we have subtracted those cases where there is 1. Again, here 3 steps. You have to do 18C4, 10C4, 8C1 to 10C3. Here also there were 3 steps. But the point is, this approach you need to know. Right? Sometimes it can be easier to do the calculation this way. Alright, just simplify this and you get the correct answer. Answer would be same. Final answer is going to be 1890, but simplification you need to do now. 18 into 17 into 16 into 15 by 4 into 3 into 2, 10C4, 10 into 9 into 8 into 7 by 4 into 3 into 2, 8C1 into 10C3. So 8C1 is 8, 10C3 is 10 into 9 into 8 by 3 into 2. So calculation here, again, calculation is involved. I don't say calculation is not involved. But the approach is this. There's no other shortcut. If you ask me, is there any shortcut format to get the answer? No. You have to do this detailed solution. But time can be saved if you are good in calculation. So that's about this second one. Let's quickly move on to the third question from this set. So here we go. Third question. Now this time it says a committee of 5 in which 2 men teachers, 2 women teachers, and 1 doctor are there. So it is not just about men and women now. It is also about the professions. We need 2 men who are teachers. We need 2 women who are teachers and 1 doctor. So try out. Options are 75, 150, 214, 20, and none. One minute is what you have, and your time has already started. I think Vinay Shukla had changed his answer. He said 1890, but remember, sorries are not allowed when you go for the actual exam. So you have to do it, rightly in the first step itself. You cannot be committing mistakes and then rectifying it in the exam. You don't have that luxury there, right? Here I know you have verified your answer because the whole Janta was saying 1890. Everybody was saying 1890, only you said 1260. So you got it out. Maybe I'm wrong and you verified. But in the exam, you will not get to know what others have marked. So be very, very careful. Okay. And I think 1 class on quadratic equation with shortcut solving methods. I think, see, this is from Dileshwar. Dileshwar says take 1 class on quadratic equation with shortcut solving methods, and we have Katiresan who said take free live class for SSC also. Well, we'll try and do it as much as possible. But remember, you wouldn't have to wait for a free live session to happen to learn shortcuts for quadratic equations, right? Like I've told you, there are videos recorded for all the topics of aptitude, reasoning, verbal ability, and English language and other sections of the exams, right? Bank exams as well as SSC exams. So you can explore more about our products and start preparing with the smartest methods for different types of questions across all the subjects, right? So I would recommend that you visit our website talentsprint.com/bank and get to know more about our products. However, I have taken your inputs and we'll see if we can schedule more classes on SSC and quadratic equations and other stuff. Now here, I think everybody so far has got 150 as the answer. So I'm actually glad to see that you are good in this area, right? Because 5-mark question and a very common question in PU and SO exams. So you have to perform a committee of 5 in which 2 men teachers. How many men teachers? 5 men are teachers. Out of 5, what is required? 2 is required. So 5C2. 2 women teachers. How many women teachers? 3 are teachers, right? Among the women, 3 are teachers. Out of 3, how many do we need? 2. So 3C2. And 1 doctor. 1 doctor. Now understand, here the gender has not been specified. Is the gender given? No, gender is not given. Earlier it was very clear, men teacher, women teacher. But this time gender has not been given, which means this 1 doctor can be a man or a woman. Both are possible, right? The gender is not important. Now, how many doctors do we have altogether? See, 3 men are doctors and 2 women are doctors. So this time we have a total choice of 5. You should not get confused whether men doctor or woman doctor is required. Male doctor or female doctor is required. That is not the point. The point is we need a doctor. It can be a man or a woman. So total 3 plus 2, 5 choices. Out of these 5, we need 1 doctor. So 5C1. And going by the principle of multiplication, you have to multiply all these, because if one action can be done in X ways, the other action can be done in Y ways, then both together can be done in X into Y ways. So X into Y into Z. Now simplify 5C2. You can do it mentally. 5C2 is what? 5 into 4 by 2. So 20 by 2, 10. Into 3C2 is 3C1. 3C1 is 3. And 5C1 is 5. So 3 into 5, 15 into 10. 150 is the answer, right? So I think mentally you can arrive at an answer for this question, which is 150. All right, remember, NC1 is always equal to N. Just take it as a blind rule. So 5C1, 5. No need to do any calculation. 12C1, 12. 12C, 41C1, 41. 28C1 is all 28, right? And another important point that you need to know is NCR is equal to NC of N minus R. So if you look at 3C2, 3C2, no need to simplify as 3C2. 3C2 can be taken as 3C1. 3C2 is equal to 3C1. And 3C1 I know is equal to 3, right? From this argument. So you need to know certain rules or formulae which can help you do the calculations faster, right? One is NC1 is equal to N, and the other is NCR equals to NCN minus R, right? Like for example, 5C2 is equal to 5C3, or 12C5 is equal to 12C7. NCR is equal to NC of N minus R, right? So whichever way you find the calculation to be easier, just go for that. Answer is 150. So very good that all of you have got the correct answer. Moving on to the next one. So this is the fourth condition, a committee of 7. I think I don't have to wait for your response here. A committee of 7, no condition, unconditional committee formation, right? No condition given here. He simply says, form a committee of 7. Out of how many persons? 18 persons. We have 10 men and 8 women. No conditions are given. So total choice is 18. Out of 18, you need to select 7. Now this is important. 18C7. See, you know, understanding of the question and application is very easy. But what is going to take a lot of time here is a calculation. And that is where most of us get stuck. So it all depends on how quickly do you do this calculation. 18C7 is correct. But simplify this now. I'll give you 30 seconds, which is too much, right? But since you have to comment through a chat, I am giving you a little more time. There will be a lag in your response and the reflection here. 18C7. Simplify 18C7. Let's see how many of you get the correct answer. 18C7. 18C7 is the final answer. Now, from the rule that we have discussed a few minutes ago, 18C7 can also be taken as 18C11, right? NCR is NCN minus R. So 18C7 is 18C11. You can simplify using this or this. You have to decide which is better. Definitely, 18C7 is a better way of doing it. Because here you have to do the expansion only up to 7 numbers. Here you'll have to do the expansion up to 11 numbers. Final answer would be same. But because of that expansion of more numbers, it gets complicated. So use 18C7 and get the answer. Yeah, I think quick responses. 31824. Almost everybody has got 31824. 31824, 31824. Vinay Shukla has got the same answer. Seema, Jayesh, and Divya Sri, and Vibha, Manasa, Hari, Rohit, Rajkumar. Everyone has got 31824. Good. Right. So what do we do? Let's look at the simplification. Like I said, you have to expand, right? You have to just expand that. So 18 into 17 into 16 into 15 into 14 into, you have to do it how many times? Up to how many numbers? 7 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 13 into 12. 7. Divided by 7 into 6 and so on, right? 6 into 5 and so on. But you know that 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1 is 120. 5 factorial. So you can take 120. Or maybe when you know 6 factorial is 720, you can directly write 7 into 720. Or if you know that 7 factorial is 5040, you can directly write 5040 also. So denominator is going to be 7 factorial. So you can write 5040. But anyway, 5040 cancellations have to be done, right? So better you split it so that it becomes easier to do the calculations. Are you able to follow? So 7 numbers in the numerator, starting from 18 and going in the reverse direction. So 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, right? So, and 7 numbers, and denominator is 7 factorial, which we have split 7 into 6 into 5 factorial. Now do the calculation. 12 goes 10 times, right? 6 goes 3 times, 7 goes in 14 2 times. And then we have 15 into 2, which is 30. 30 if you cancel with 10, it goes 3 times. So what's the answer? 3 into 17 into 16 into 3 into 13. Now this calculation you will have to do. Maybe using units place method, you can eliminate 3 of the options. But the challenge here is 5th option, none of these. If you are ready to take a chance, then definitely units place method will help you. Units place method or unit digit method is going to be very, very helpful here, because minimum 3 options can be eliminated. See, here the units place is 4, here it is 0, 0, and 2. Right? Definitely the answer is not going to end in 0 because you don't have 5s here. When will the answer end in 0? Only when you have to multiply 5 with 2. But 3, 7, 6, 3, 3, it is not going to be second option or third option. Right? It should either be fourth option, 2, or first option, which ends with 4. Now check the units place, what happens? Number ends in 3. 3 into 7, 1. You're able to follow. We are only working on units place. 3 into 7, 21. So take 1. 1 into 6, 6. 6 into 3, 8. 6 into 3 is 18, but we are taking 8 units place. 8 into 3. 8 into 3 is how much? 24. So we'll take units place 4. I know that the answer will end with 4. What are the remaining digits? No idea, but answer ends with 4. So going by that, even 4th option gets cancelled. Now there are only 2 choices, either first option or 5th option. If you are ready to take a chance, you can mark first option 31824 as the answer. If you say no, I don't want to take any chance, I'll do the complete simplification, then do it. What do you do? 3 into 17 is 51. 16 into 3 is 48 into 13. So 51 into 48 into 13. 51 into 48 into, here we have got 13. Do the calculation. How much is 51 into 48? Are you able to follow? 51 into 40. 48 into 50 is 2400. 48 into 1 is 48. 2400 plus 48, 2448. 2448 into 13. And now again you have to do calculation. 2448 into 10, which comes out to be 24,480 plus 2448 into 3. So 6,000, 1200 is 7,200 and 144. So 7,344. Add these two, you will get this as the answer. 24,000, 7,000 is 31,000. 480 plus 344 is 824. First option is the answer. So, like we have said, calculation. The key is how you do these calculations. If you start doing this, 2, 4, 4, 8 into 13, then definitely you are not the winner. 8 into 3, 24, 8 into 4, 12 and 2, 14, then 8 into 4, 12 and 1, 13, 8 into 3 into 2, 6. You're able to follow. 3 into 8, 24, 3 into 4, 12 and 1, 12 and 2, 14, 3 into 4, 12 plus 1, 13, 3 into 2, 6 and 1, 7. If you start doing it this way, then you are not fit for the exam, right? I'm being a little blunt. You are not fit for this exam. You have to do calculations mentally and cut down the number of steps. So good. Option 1 is the correct answer. And the last one from this set. Let's look at this. A committee of 3 in which there is no teacher and no doctor. Again, a very interesting one. No teacher and no doctor. This time he said what he doesn't need. So far, what we have been doing, what we need. We need 3 women, 2 men, 2 male doctors, 3 female doctors, 1 teacher, 1 scholar, and all that. What is required? At least 2 women required, at least 1 man required, and so on. But this time he says, form a committee of 3 persons, but ensure that you don't include teachers and don't include doctors. So try it out. I think Nayak Sarkar says can't solve fast. What to do? I think Nayak Sarkar, you have to do 3 things: practice, practice, and practice. The only way to improve, the only 3 steps to improve your calculations is to practice. That's it. And I think the app that we have, Banker's Choice app, can really help you a lot in your calculations, right? Download the Banker's Choice app from Google Play Store, right? This is our Android app, which you can download from Google Play Store. It will really help you improve your calculation ability, because here we have got an exercise called Speed Math Challenge, where randomly numbers will be thrown at you with different arithmetic operators. You'll have to find out the answer. So if you spend, I would say, if you spend at least half an hour a day on that Speed Math Challenge, there's something called a Speed Math Challenge. Of course, there are other important parts like daily challenge, where One concept would be discussed through videos and all that. But speed math challenge is what can help you improve your calculations. Speed math challenge, Banker's Choice app, right? So if you spend half an hour every day on speed math challenge, I'm sure you will feel the difference in about 10-15 days of time, right? Banker's Choice app, search on Google Play Store. Remember, Banker's Choice, KERS. Or alternatively, you can visit www.talentsprint.com/app. talentsprint.com/app. From here also you can get the direct link for downloading the app. So do this. I think not just Nayak Sarkar, but everybody out there, I would highly recommend you to download this app. Also spread a word, let your friends know about it so that you all can benefit from this. I would say a must tool for your bank exam preparation. By the way, how many of you have downloaded this app? How many of you are aware of this Banker's Choice app? Just trying to digress a little from the topic of permutations and combinations. Just a question for all of you. How many of you have downloaded this app, Banker's Choice app? How many of you are aware of this? Say yes or no, downloaded or not downloaded. See, we have Jayesh Singhal who says highly benefited from this app. I'm sure not just Jayesh, everybody who has used it will find it, very, very beneficial, right? Not just your speed maths will improve, not just your calculations would improve. Every day we discuss a concept from one of the topics of quantitative aptitude or reasoning or English language. Then we also have a weekly current affairs topic that comes up in the app, right? So everything in your pocket, bank exam preparation in your pocket, right? Yeah, I think many of you have not downloaded. I see Vikram, Rosmi. Vikram says, I know it, but I have not downloaded it. So I think, Vikram, you have to take an action now. Download the app if you have an Android mobile phone. And I just hope that all those who are saying, yes, we have downloaded, are finding it useful, right? If you have any suggestions, you can share with us here through the chat. We'll try and implement. I don't commit that we do it right away, but if it is really very useful, we'll find a way to include that in the app, right? I just hope all of you are also using it. Just downloading it is not enough. You have to use it, right? Use it as much as you can so that you don't have to struggle with numbers in the exam. So good. I think only few of you have said no. Only Rosmi and Vikram said no. Harsha says, I'm going to download as soon as this webinar would end. Yeah, Harsha, the webinar would end in another 15 minutes. So please download this app and also share it with your friends. And Jeevan says download it. Good. Acha, now I understand Vikram's concern. Vikram says, I have a Windows phone. Well, I'm really sorry, Vikram. We don't have a build for a Windows phone. But let me tell you, our technical team is working on that, right? We are, I would say, soon going to launch the app for Windows as well as iPhones, right? iOS. But since the market is Android, we have launched it on the Android first. Don't worry. Very soon you'll have it in your Windows phone as well. Vaishnavi says we are using it. It's like a Candy Crush game. Yeah, I just hope people start loving it like, they love Candy Crush. Okay, Shubhendu Roy has got a query. He says, I don't have an Android. Can anyone help me giving some websites or any app through FB? I would say, see, what you're looking for is not an app. What you're looking for is learning. The learning can be done through this app, or you can also, go and open a free trial account on our website, right? There's something called as a basic prep. Again, you'll have to visit talentsprint.com for this, right? Visit talentsprint.com/bank. go to this URL, talentsprint.com/bank. There's something called as a basic prep course, which actually cost you 0 rupees, right? This is a free course where you have some, learning content available for you, right? You don't have to pay anything for that. So you can experience our product through this basic prep course as well. Just go and try and use that. Chalo, coming back to this one, a committee of 3 in which no teacher and no doctor. So what do you do? Very simple. No teacher, no doctor. Strike off all the doctors and all the teachers. This 5 men are teachers, 3 men are doctors, and 3 are teachers. All these are ruled out. So our choice is only 2 businessmen, 2 researchers, and 1 social worker. So altogether we have got how many? 2 plus 2, 4 plus 1, 5. Out of these 5, I'll have to select 3. 5C3. In how many ways can you do that? 5C3 is equal to 5C3, 5C2. 5C2 is how much? 10. 5 into 4 by 2. 20 by 2, 10. So option 3 is the correct answer. So that's about, these questions from permutations and combinations, right? We generally get, if you, pull out last 2-3 papers of specialist officers exam or PO's exam, you find that 5 questions are asked from permutations and combinations or probability, right? So a very important part, I would say, especially this committee formation, this thing, right? Either it is asked on committee formation or choosing balls or hats or caps from different colored caps, right? Instead of saying teachers and doctors and research scholars and painters, they'll say green caps, blue caps, red caps, and white caps. So basically it's about different categories that you have, and you'll have to choose from those categories. So important part, 5 marks. And I would say overall, if you see, 5 questions here can be answered in 2 minutes. 2 minutes and 5 marks guaranteed. Nothing is going to be complex in these things. It's all about choosing from the right groups. You have to group it properly and then choose it out, right? Choose from those groups. So that's about these 5 questions. We have still some time left. I think 10 more minutes to go. So let me pick up more questions. Well, I actually have a lot of questions here, but time is the constraint, right? We have only 1 hour. So, I'll try and do as many questions as possible. So I'm just moving on now. Let me share my screens once again with all of you. Right? And let's do some independent 1-mark questions that were asked in the last year's IBPS exam. So I'm just clearing it out. And here we go. The next question. I think the simple one from Time and Work. Don't blame me for this simple question because IBPS is the one who had asked this question last year, right? So they ask questions as simple as these ones as well, right? 35 women can do a piece of work in 15 days. How many women would be required to do the same work in 25 days? What do you do? Same work, right? He says W1 is equal to W2. So you know that P1 D1 should be equal to P2 D2. You don't have to write these 2 steps. Those who all write these 2 steps on paper are wrong. If you ask me, I am wrong because I've spent time in doing all this nonsense which is not required. But why did I do this? So that you can follow up, right? What do you do in the exam? 35 women can do in 15 days. So total work is 35 into 15. And how many women will be required to do it in 25 days? Simplify. So this is like 5 into 5. 5 times 7 times 3 times. 7 into 3 is how much? 21. So your answer for this question is 21. Should not take more than, I would say, 4 seconds. 4 seconds after you finish reading the question, right? You finish reading the question, then 1, 2, 3, 4, you mark your answer and go to the next one. That speed you must have, right? Because that is the, basic question, the most basic one that you can get from Time and Work. If you're expecting a simpler question than this in the exam, then I think something is wrong, right? Next one. This is an interesting one. Let's see how many if you get it right. The product of 2 consecutive odd numbers is 4623, which is greater of the 2 numbers. So we have got 5 options here: 66, 69, 68, 67, and none. None or none of this, like it is popularly given as. So the product of 2 consecutive odd numbers is 4623. He says there are 2 numbers, 2 consecutive odd numbers. I'm sure you understand what is meant by consecutive odd numbers, right? The difference between 2 consecutive odd numbers is always 2. So there are 2 such numbers where the product is 4623. He's asking us to find out the larger of these 2 numbers, right? The greater of these 2 numbers. Options have also been given. I'll give you 1 minute and your time starts now. Yeah, and I was flooded with the responses as 21. Good. I think WDW says we need DI class, data interpretation class. Well, let me tell you, we have done data interpretation in one of our very earlier sessions, I think almost a year ago. You just go to YouTube and search for data interpretation basics or data interpretation. You will find a video by TalentSprint, which you can go through and get the clear concept out of it. If you need more, then you'll have to explore our programs, talentsprint.com/bank. And develop apps for PC also. Well, I can only share this request with the technical team. I'm not sure if we'll be doing it on priority, but like I said, Windows and iOS, these are the two priorities that we have. $69, right? 69. And in between these 69, Sweetie says 21. So looks like Sweetie is still in the previous question, right? Sweetie, Ajay, they say it is 21, which was the answer for the previous one. So looks like you guys are like pretty slow. You'll have to catch up with others. Ranjita says, sir, may I know about the last week's class which was cancelled? Well, Ranjita, I apologize again for that cancellation of the session the other day, which was due to a technical glitch. It was exactly a week ago on 2nd of December, and the session was for IBPS clerks prelims exam strategy. However, I am also upset that you didn't know that the class was rescheduled. I told you very clearly that day that you have to follow up our Facebook page to know about the rescheduled or to know about the updated schedule of that class, right? It was done on 4th December, which was a Friday. We did that session on exam strategy, right? Anyway, don't worry. Although you have missed the live session at TalentSprint, you will never miss a concept or a session as such, right? You may not be live there, but recorded archive can always be watched. So you can just go and enroll for our basic prep program from talentsprint.com/bank and watch the recorded video of that live session. Not just that live session, the previous 6 live sessions are always available. So you can go through those videos. All right, so let's start working on this. Now, what do we do? Product of 2 consecutive odd numbers is 4623. The question is which is greater of the 2 numbers? Which is greater of the 2 numbers? Now, someone who has understood the question in the first read itself, right? The product of 2 consecutive odd numbers is 4623, which is the greater of the 2 numbers. Now, understand, you know that first option and third option are not possible. 0 seconds, you must realize that first and third are actually stupid answers because these are 2 odd numbers. There are 2 numbers which are odd in nature. 66 and 68 are even numbers. How can these be the greater numbers? They're impossible. 69 odd possible. 67 is odd possible. Fifth option, none of this is always possible. Now, if you actually have to follow the conventional method, I can say that the first number is x, the second number is x plus 2. Yes or no? You take any odd number, the next successive one will be x plus 2, right? Consecutive odd numbers. And the product of these 2 numbers is given as 4623. So basically, you'll have to factorize this quadratic equation. It's like x squared plus 2x minus 4623 equals to 0. So you'll either have to use that formula, right? Minus b plus or minus root over b squared minus 4ac by 2a, or you'll have to go for factorization of the above equation to find out what are the roots of the equation. That means what are the values of x. You'll get 2 values of x, of which one will be ruled out. Most probably it will be a negative value, and the other one, which is positive, can be taken as a correct answer. But then doing all this would take about a minute. It takes about a minute's time, which we don't have in the exam, or we do have, but we cannot be spending a minute for a 1-mark question, right? So avoid this. Anyway, 2 options are ruled out, 66 and 62 is ruled. So what do we do? If you don't solve it, then what do we do? Very simple. Go by elimination method. Already 2 of the options have been eliminated. Let us eliminate from the remaining ones. Yes, 5th option, none of this is there, which is a concern. But definitely you will get the right answer if you follow the elimination method. Let me explain that to you. What do we do? 69. Let us assume 69 is the correct answer. What are we looking for? Which is the greater of the 2 numbers? I am saying greater of the 2 numbers is 69. I am assuming that the greater of the 2 numbers is 69. If the greater number is 69, definitely smaller number should be 67 because there are 2 consecutive odd numbers. So if greater is 69, small should be 67. 69 into 67. First check units place. 9 into 7. One number ends in 9. The other number ends in 7. Their product will end with 3, which is the case here. Yes, product ends in 3. So maybe 69 is the correct answer. You can verify. What do you do now? Multiply 69 and 67 and check. Let's say if you take 67, what happens? If greater number is 67, smaller number is 65. 7 into 5 will end with what? It will end with 5. But we know that the product should end with 3. So fourth option is ruled out. Now there are only two possibilities, either second option or fifth option. So what do you do? Find out what is 69 to 67. Now multiplying two numbers, multiplying two-digit numbers will not take more than 4-5 seconds, provided you know the smart method. If I really look at 69 and 67 here, the idea that strikes to me is 68 plus 1 and 68 minus 1. This is like a plus b into a minus b, right? 68 plus 1, 69, 68 minus 1, 67. Answer should be 68 squared minus 1 squared. Now you may be wondering who will do 68 square. But if you have followed the banker's choice video, you know that 68 square is a 3 seconds job, right? 50 plus 18, so 2500 plus 1800, 4300 plus 324, 4624 minus 1, 4623. Yes, this exactly matches with what is given in the question. Hence, 69 is the correct answer. If you do not know how to find out 68 square, then this is not a right way of doing it. Then you'll actually have to do this 69, 67, 7 9s are 63, 7 6 are 42, and 6 48, and all this drama has to be done. But you can avoid this. How can you avoid? Practice. Practice. And practice a little more, because practice is the key to success when it comes to quantitative aptitude, right? Especially your practice on calculations. Are you able to follow? So I think that's very, very important. You understand whatever be the topic, whether it is number systems or time and work or time and distance or permutations and combinations or data interpretation, every question involves calculations. So don't run behind the shortcut formula. The problem is most of us run behind the shortcut formula. If I ask you what is important to score more, everybody says shortcut formula, smart method, and technique is required. Required, I don't say no. But what is more important is how you do your calculation, because shortcut formula will only help you to an extent. After that, you'll have to do that simplification, right? And that is where we get stuck. If I ask you, do you know multiplication? All of you says, yes, I know multiplication. And when I ask you to multiply 69 and 67, we do it on paper. 6 9, 6 7, 7 9, 63, 7 6, 42, and all that. End up wasting a lot of time. The problem is you have been doing it that way since your childhood, right? Multiplication is on paper. So you think you know it, but you only know the conventional method. You know only the traditional method. How do you do it in a smart way is what matters. What matters? Smart way of doing calculations. So focus on that. And I think with that objective, that speed math challenge was included in your in the Banker's Choice mobile app, right? The Android app that we have. So I would recommend, highly recommend that download that app, not just for your calculations, but also for a concept. Every day there's a challenge there. We give a question. We give set of 5 questions actually, and we give you 3 minutes of time. All the 5 questions are based on the same concept. So first you have to take that challenge, answer those 5 questions, and then see whether you have got it right or not. And then there is a video which explains you the best way of answering such questions. So every day you learn something. And then throughout the day, you can work on numbers. You can play with numbers, right? Through that speed math challenge. You'll also get your ranking, across the world, as in where you stand, right? What is your score and all that. So I'm sure that Banker's Choice app is really going to play a very crucial role in your preparation for bank exams. And not just that, there's a lot of content available through our various programs, which you can explore on our website, which is talentsprint.com/bank. talentsprint.com/bank, BANK. So we have different programs, especially programs focusing on establishing your banking career in the year 2016. Of course, we have a number of exams lined up: SBI specialist officers, IBPS specialist officers, IBPS clerks main exam, right? But there are more notifications expected, and exams would be held in 2016. So if you are really looking at establishing and starting your banking career or a career in the government, office, right, as a government employee through SSC, Staff Selection Commission's combined graduate level, combined graduate level exam, I think this is the time. You have to start your preparation right away. Remember a golden rule: the early you start, the better are your chances. Because these exams are not difficult because difficult questions are asked. Cracking this exam is difficult because the competition is huge. And the only way to beat this competition is to practice more and practice the right way, right? So those who have that early movers advantage, they'll definitely do well, perform well in the exam, right? It is simply a game of practice, right? It is a running race. You have to beat others. And for you to beat others, no shortcut would help. Your amount of practice that you have gone through will definitely help. I think we'll stop here because time is already up. I was supposed to close this session at 6:45, 6:50. We are already at 7:05 now. However, we'll come up with more such sessions, right? I'm sure you're aware that next week we have another session on English language for IBPS SO exam, right? We have these free live webinars every Wednesday at 6 p.m., right? You can follow the schedule through our Facebook page, TalentSprint's Facebook page. So do join us next week as well, along with your friends, and get to learn the smart methods of answering questions, not just from quant, but also from other subjects like reasoning, English language, and current affairs, etc. Right? I wish you all the best for your upcoming exams, especially to those who have their IBPS clerks preliminary exam on this Saturday and Sunday. All right, so do well, perform well, don't panic, and one day before the exam is a very important day, right? A day before the exam is very, very important, right? That day, you must not prepare. You must not practice. What do? Relax. Because, control on your mind is very, very important when you go for such exams. So you just cannot, take that pressure by just preparing till the last moment, right? Relax, do something which you like, sleep well, and go with a fresh mind in the exam so that you can capitalize on your preparation that you have done in the last 2 months, over the last 2 months, right? And give your best shot in that limited 1 hour of time, right? So 1 hour, 100 questions, I'm sure it's going to be a challenge, but you will do well if you have performed, if you have practiced and prepared well. All right. So on that note, let's close the session. Thank you all for participating in this session. I have taken your feedback and we'll try and launch the Windows and iOS app at the earliest possible. Like I said, our technical teams are working on that. Very soon we'll come up with those apps as well. Right. So keep practicing and do well. Thank you.